Welcome back to Jawa Recaps. Today, we're diving into the terrifying tale called The Demon's Bride, 2025. A story where love and horror intertwine, as a young woman finds herself bound by a cursed marriage to a demon. What begins as a union shrouded in mystery quickly unravels into a nightmare, where every vow carries a deadly consequence. The story starts and we see a pregnant woman making Maggie late at night in her kitchen when she suddenly felt that someone was standing behind her. As she turned around, she saw her sister-in-law, Ranty, making a strange face. Suddenly, Ranty dipped her hand into the boiling water and pulled out a live frog, which she then started eating. The woman was so disgusted she felt as if her baby would come out right then and there. A while later, she took her Maggie and went into her room. But as soon as she lifted the blanket, she saw her sister-in-law, Ranty, already lying there. Before she could make sense of anything, Ranty twisted her neck and took the baby out of her womb and ate it. The next morning, when the family saw that the woman was missing from the house, no one knew where she had gone. The mother-in-law assumed that the daughter-in-law had gotten upset and gone to her parents' home. To protect the family's honor, she didn't tell anyone and quietly tried calling her. But on the call, she heard someone crying. And then suddenly her wheelchair started moving backward on its own. It was actually the ghost of her daughter-in-law standing behind and pushing the wheelchair. Panicked, the mother-in-law hit the brakes. The ghost vanished instantly, leaving everyone shocked. But no one knew that all of this was happening because of Rant's black magic. A few days earlier, Rant's daughter, Na, had met with an accident, and the doctors had recommended brain surgery. Her husband was away working and couldn't be reached by phone. That's when an old mysterious woman came by. She fed Ranty and handed her a piece of paper saying, "If the doctors fail, try this way." The very next day, a huge bill came from the hospital. No one in the house was ready to help. The mother-in-law said, "I don't have any money." Gita suggested, "Sell the house." But her brother-in-law, Bayu, and his pregnant wife refused. Defeated, Ranty went to the old woman's house. The old woman said, "If you marry the devil, your daughter will be cured." Randy had no other option left, so she agreed. The old woman then asked her to eat a raw Ruer's liver. Then she told her to bathe in its blood and walk over the ground decorated with a specific flower to reach the devil's room. There, Ranty surrendered her soul and body to the devil. That same night, the devil accepted Ranty in his own way. Outside, the old woman was singing. Then she gave Ranty a warning. Every week bury a rooster's head and liver in the ground. Only then would Na stay healthy. The next morning, Ranty returned home and Nina was completely fine, laughing and running around the house. Everyone was shocked, especially Bobo, who noticed that his prize rooster, the one that always won fights, was missing. Na was now totally cured. On the way home, she was jumping around joyfully. When everyone asked how this happened, Ranty brushed it off by calling it a miracle. But her sister-in-law, City Ada, felt something was wrong. She was convinced Ranty had used black magic. But Bobo didn't care as now there was no need to sell the house. The next morning, as City was feeding the roosters, she saw Ranty walking quietly into the house with a strange expression on her face. Suspicious, City followed her. Inside, Ranty locked herself in a dark room. City opened the windows to see what was going on. That's when she saw Ranty staring at the static screen of a no-signal TV laughing. City asked, "Bobby, is everything okay?" But Ranty didn't respond. Just then, someone knocked on the door. As soon as City opened the door, she saw that Ranty was standing outside. She was now completely terrified because just moments ago, she had seen her inside the room. But when she went back to the room, there was no one there. That night, as City was passing by the bathroom, she heard someone laughing and giggling from inside. She thought maybe Ranty was with some strange man. City secretly recorded a video on her phone as proof and was just about to upload it when Ranty came out of the bathroom. City somehow covered up the situation. But the strange thing was there was no one else inside the bathroom. The next morning, that video went viral all over the village. When Ranty saw it, she was furious. She grabbed a large vegetable cutting knife from the kitchen and held City by the throat. Frightened, City immediately confessed that she had posted the video because she suspected Rant's behavior and wanted everyone to know the truth. Ranty became even angrier and was just about to attack with the knife when Gita stepped in and stopped her. For a moment, even Ranty was scared of her own rage and walked away without saying a word. That night, Bayu sent City to make Maggie noodles. And then the same horrifying scene occurred, the one you saw at the beginning of the story. Everyone assumed City had gone to her parents' house, so no one paid much attention. That night, when Geeta went out to catch a chicken, she heard someone crying near the bushes. She quickly took out her camera to check. But just then, one of Na's toys rolled toward the bathroom. As Na went into the bathroom to get it, some black decayed fingers emerged from under the bathroom door. Na's scream echoed throughout the house. Geeta turned around in shock. But the one standing before her wasn't Ranti. It was the same evil spirit that had once made Siddhi its victim. Na was now completely paralyzed with fear. Every week, Ranti would bury a rooster's head and liver in the ground as part of a black magic ritual. One day, while she was doing this, the soil unexpectedly gave way beneath her hands, and the rotting corpse of Siddhi emerged. Seeing this, Rant's heart trembled. Overwhelmed with fear and regret, she immediately ran to the elderly woman. What the woman revealed shook Ranti to her core. The very day Ranti had married the devil, that demon had begun residing within her body. He had always returned home with her. And whenever someone went against Ranti, the devil would eliminate them. The old woman said, "Now you are his wife, and it is a husband's duty to protect his wife." But Ranti wanted to end it all. She only wanted to save her daughter without taking anyone's life. However, the elderly woman clearly stated there was no turning back now. That night, Bayu heard the sound of Siddhi crying. When he went into the backyard, he saw Siddhi's decayed corpse lying on the ground with Ranti's scarf beside it. He ran to his mother, but his mother said, "Don't spread this around. It'll bring disgrace. Bury it in the backyard quickly." Bayu's soul trembled. Should a mother really say something like that? But he didn't have the courage to defy her. In the darkness of the night, he buried Siddhi's body. Meanwhile, he saw someone going into the wooden room. Enraged, he followed. But as soon as he opened the door, a sharp wooden stick was jabbed into his eye, and the demon grabbed his throat and slammed him to the ground. When he regained consciousness, he was already dead. By then, Ji had arrived, but it was far too late. She realized something terribly wrong was happening. She asked Ranti, "What are you hiding?" Ranti pleaded, "Don't ask, Geeta. If you trouble me, this demon won't spare you either." The next day, at her mother's insistence, Jay buried Bayu's body in the backyard. Her mother was still only worried about her reputation. That evening, Na saw through the window that her mother, Ranti, was banging her head repeatedly against the wall. Suddenly, Rant's face changed. Her eyes turned red, and she started laughing like a mad woman. Na was frozen in fear. About a month later, her husband and Bobo, who had been away for work, returned home, but Ranti refused to meet him. When Bobo peeked through a crack in the door, he saw that Ranti was no longer the same. He said, "I will fix you." At midnight, Bobo heard laughter coming from the room. When he looked through the crack again, he saw a terrifying black claw-like arm wrapped around Ranti. The next morning, Bobo chained Ranti with iron chains so she couldn't harm anyone. Na came with food for her mother. But as soon as her mother asked her to unlock the chains, Nina trembled with fear. In her eyes, she no longer saw her mother, but a terrifying shadow. She ran and hid in her grandmother's lap. Meanwhile, Geeta remembered a mysterious conversation that had taken place between the elderly woman and Ranti in the hospital. Maybe the answers were there. Geeta and Bobo searched all day and night for the old woman, but they found no trace of her. Meanwhile, Na couldn't resist and went to see her mother again. Ranti lied, saying, "Dear, I want to eat your biscuits." Innocent Na believed her and went to get some biscuits. But when she returned, Ranti had vanished. At that very moment, Na heard her grandmother scream. When she ran to the spot, she found her grandmother's dead body lying on the floor, and standing right in front of it was her mother, whose eyes no longer looked human. Na ran away crying in fear. Just then, Geeta and Bobo arrived at the house and were shocked to see the condition of the mother. Geeta immediately tried to find Nina, but at that moment, Ranti appeared. Geeta confronted her, but Ranti was no longer like a normal woman. She threw Geeta to the ground. Just as Rant was about to attack, Geeta grabbed a large pair of scissors nearby and stabbed her in the shoulder. Ranti, furious, gave a violent jerk and knocked Geeta unconscious. Bobo was now searching for Nina. Suddenly, he felt like someone was breathing behind him. As he turned around, Ranti attacked him. Bobo tried to defend himself, but the scissors were plunged straight into his chest. One more blow, and it was all over. Ranti now began searching for Nina, who was hiding in the attic. But just then, Geeta regained consciousness. She made noise to distract Ranti. Na saw her dead father and her now insane mother. Tears rolled down her eyes. She picked up the same large pair of scissors nearby and stood in front of her mother to stop her. The word "mom" from Na's mouth seemed to awaken Ranti's soul. Her red eyes turned human again. Crying, Ranti said, "Geta, take Nina and get out of here quickly." Then she poured petrol all over the house and herself. She hugged her daughter one last time with a smile. Rani looked at her daughter for the final time, struck a match, and set herself on fire. With her screams, the demon spirit also burned to ashes. The flames not only burned her body, but also incinerated that evil spirit. Nina and Gita, who somehow survived the horrifying events, left that house forever and started living in a small nearby village. They began a new life, simple but peaceful. But the story doesn't end there. One day, while Gita was cleaning the wardrobe, she suddenly noticed an old closet shaking on its own. As she nervously opened the door, she saw a red bridal outfit hanging inside. The same one Ranti had worn during her wedding to the demon. Gita's face turned pale. Was it all starting again? And with that, today's recap of the film called The Demon's Bride comes to an end. If you were forced into a marriage with a demon, would you fight to break free, or accept the curse and embrace the darkness? Let me know. Share your thoughts in the comments, hit like, subscribe to Jawa Recaps, and share this video with your friends who love a good scare.